Right,
and
but that doesn't mean that he didn't partake in these actions.
So you can go through all his trials. The number one thing is where they held the trials. That's the first argument they're going to have. The second argument they're going to have.
But that has nothing to do with if he did or didn't rape her.
Let Trump hardly testify. He cut him off every time and told him to move on. That's going to be the second one they're going to freaking appeal on.
Okay, yeah. So could you give me an instance of Trump testifying and being cut off and told to move on?
His lawyer. She came out and gave a press statement about it. Okay, and yes, I'm going to believe Trump's side more on this one because they held it in strictly Democratic areas.
Yeah, I have a question.
Democratic area, which
if Trump was held civilly liable for the rape of a little girl, would you still vote for him?
Okay, I know about the 13-year-old girl that placed a.
If Trump was held civilly liable for the rape of a little girl, would you still vote for him?
Oh, absolutely. I would not vote for him. But he did. So
so then your issue here is not the standard of evidence that they used to prove that he raped an adult woman, or you would say that you would still vote for him if he was held civilly liable.
Why do you keep looking down like you're reading off a piece of paper?
Bro, no. Let me play with my fucking playing cards in peace. And if I was reading off a piece of paper, who the fuck would care? Okay, I'm playing with my cards.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me play with my cards in peace.
I'll save that statement.
I have to put up with you and other Trump supporters for like 6 hours a day. Just allow me to do my little thing with my cards while I do. Anyways, I'm going to go back to what I was saying. So you said that you wouldn't vote for Trump if he was held civilly liable for the rape of a little girl, yet you would vote for him
because civil is two different laws.
Would you vote for Trump if he was held civilly liable for the rape of a little girl?
No. I mean, that would be insane, but I wouldn't vote at all because I'm definitely not voting for Kamala. I'll tell you who.
Her name's Kamala. So I'm going to go back to what I was saying now. Thank you. You answered my question. Thank you, Clay. So if you wouldn't vote for Trump if he was held civilly liable for the rape of a little girl, why would you vote for Trump even though he was held civilly liable for the rape of an adult woman?
Because he wasn't. I keep telling you, the court document said there was no findings. And there's no way they can offer, and this is what makes me mad about this case. They changed the law to go back 30 years.
Betsy, thank you for the $10 on Venmo for more bicycle cards. Let's go. Thank you so much for the love, Betsy. Let's get some W's in the chat for Betsy. I really appreciate you for the love there. Massive W's down below. So, your claim that he wasn't held civilly liable for rape is incorrect, right? So what you're referencing, right? One second. In the state of New York at the time, they defined rape as a male member entering into the female member without consent, and they held him liable for inserting his fingers into a vajayjay without consent, right? However, as we already agreed, anything entering into a woman's vajayjay without consent is rape, right? And then it is the case that E. Jean Carroll then turned around and called him a rapist on national live television. He tried to make the same argument you're making right now, that he was not held liable for rape, he was held liable for sexual abuse, and then the judge threw out his countersuit because her claims that he had raped her were substantially true. We also should point out the fact that the legislation of the state of New York updated in 2023 to reflect what I'm saying right now, to reflect the way that we define rape, alongside 36 other states.
Oh, okay. Whatever you say, boss. I mean, a 30-year conviction, I mean, that sounds like a target to me. And for a woman to go on live...
Jakari, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. I really appreciate you for the love. Massive W's in the chat for Jakari. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Oh, all I was saying is this woman went on live TV saying rape is sexy.
Okay, so that's false. She did not say that she thinks
it was so bad on CNN, they took it off the air.
Hey, she didn't say that she thinks rape is sexy. She said that other people think rape is sexy, which is true.
No. She turned to him and said, "Don't you? Rape is sexy. It's
false." How much money would you like to bet?
Okay.
How much money would you like to bet?
But why'd they take her off the air?
How much money would you like to bet that she didn't make that claim?
I'm not going to bet you any money because I know what she said. I listened to it.
Well, if you know what she said and you're so confident that you're telling the truth, why don't you want to put your money where your mouth is?
Because I'm not going to put my money where my mouth is. That's a stupid argument.
So you're not confident in what you're saying then?
No, I'm confident. What? Oh my God, man! It's like talking.
Then put your money where your mouth is.
Okay, I got a question for you. We're going to get off this subject because we're not going to go anywhere. Do you think it's fair that Trump is being charged, everyone in a Democratic city with the highest Democratic populations, with judges that are giving money to Democratic parties?
Yeah, I absolutely think it's fair that Trump is being charged for crimes that he in the area in which he committed the crimes. Maybe he should have been smarter, went down to Florida to commit the 34 felonies. Maybe he should have been smarter, went down to Texas to hide the documents. Maybe he should have been smarter, and like not committed the crimes in these particular places because according to the U.S. Constitution, that is just typical.
A free and fair trial. So
yes,
if a person murders someone in that county, do you know they move it out of that county? Because
no,
of the
don't
bias.
get out of the county.
Yes, they do. I'm not a lawyer, but I do have a criminal justice degree, and I do have a basic understanding on how this shit works.
Okay, so if Trump was criminally,
they have to recuse themselves.
Okay, so do you accept his 34 felonies, or do you think that the court and the jury was biased?
It was straight bias. Have you listened to some of these top?
It was straight bias. You reject it. So if Trump was criminally convicted of raping a little girl in the state of New York,
let me ask you, what crime did he commit on those 34 counts?
Falsifications of business records and the second intent to sway the outcome, and the second degree to sway the outcome of the 2016 election. It's a Class C felony in the state.
Okay, that's a felony and has to be moved to federal courts.
False. No, that is state.
No, it's not false. They did not. What was the jury instructions
for what?
For that conviction?
There's like 25 pages of jury instructions. You have to be more specific.
Okay, did he say you don't have to unanimously believe this to convict him? He may or may not have done this.
Yo, Joyce, thank you so much for the $25 on PayPal for stating facts. I really appreciate you for your love, Joyce. Let's get some massive W's for Joyce down below. Thank you so much for the $25 on PayPal. W's for Joyce in the chat literally right now. I really appreciate you for the love. Massive W's for Joyce right now in the chat. Thank you so much. Massive W's for Joyce. Hey, Clayton, so if Trump was criminally convicted of raping a child in New York, would you still vote for him?
I already answered that. Why is that the one you go to every time?
Just answer my question, please.
I definitely agreed with you on that one.
Wait, but I thought that you're making the argument right now that the reason you don't accept his 34 felonies was because he was held in a biased county with a biased judge and a biased jury. But if he was criminally convicted of raping a little girl, wouldn't you just say it was held in a biased judge with a biased jury in a biased county?
Yeah, they would move it to they can move it to another section of New York.
No. If he was criminally convicted of raping a little girl in the same court that he's criminally convicted of the 34 felonies for, would you still vote for him?
So do you agree that the area is held in was strictly Democratic?
I'm asking you a question, and
I'm responding because I've already answered that question.
And the answer is no. I disagree with the fact that the area in which the court was held in was strictly Democratic. So would you still vote for him if he was criminally convicted of raping a little girl in the same court he was criminally convicted? No, you didn't.
I said no, I would not vote for him.
Oh, so then you don't think that the jury's biased. You don't think that the judge is biased. You don't think that the court was biased. Because if it was truly the case that you thought that the entirety of the court was biased against Trump and he didn't actually commit these 34 felonies, and that's the reason that you reject him, well, then why don't you hold that same energy when we'd be referencing this hypothetical criminal court that would convict him of raping a little girl?
Because your hypothetical isn't including where it's being held. You just said New York.
Actually, no, I literally said it would have been held in the same court that he was criminally convicted of the 34 felonies on.
I didn't hear that. I would say it would have to be moved.
So if he was criminally convicted of raping a little girl in that same courtroom, would you still vote for him?
Yes, because it would be strictly biased and it would be overturned on constitutional reasons. If you don't believe me, let's wait and see. That I'll put money on. Let's wait and see what these
Oh my God! You would vote for Trump if he was criminally convicted of child rape.
If I felt there was biased, I would wait to the appeal process and then you would have
Holy fucking shit. That is insane. For the 4.5 thousand people in here, can we see how absolutely lost Trump's voter base is? There is a reason I call y'all a cult.
I got one question for you.
There is a reason I call y'all weird.
I got one question for you, and then I'm going to get off. Are you paid by ActBlue? Because you're saying the same shit that all these are saying.
Oh my God. No, I'm not paid by ActBlue.
Exactly.
Do you think I'm paid by ActBlue by the DNC?
It sounds like it.
Wait, could I ask you for any evidence for this?
Because you repeat the same shit that all these TikTokers are putting out. You all say the exact same thing, almost verbatim on something.
All these TikTokers, who are all these TikTokers? Can you name one other TikToker?
Well, I don't take the time to listen to their name.
Okay.
But
All
the
right,
fact
well,
that
maybe it's the case. Maybe it's the case that
curious.
maybe it's the case like all these TikTokers, right, make the same points because all you Trump supporters have the same arguments.
No, sorry.
Holy shit! Have
The
you
fact
ever
that you knew
considered
about Act
that?
Blue, probably know what
Have
they're
you
getting paid. I
ever
would say you're
considered
probably
that?
paid by them because you
Wait, no, give me
read
any
what
evidence
you
I'm paid
read.
by Act Blue. And Daryl, thank you for the $2 on Venmo from Act Blue and from the DNC. Let's get some W's for Daryl in the chat for the $2 from Act Blue. I guess I just
we'll
got paid
find out
$2
'cause
by Act Blue.
They're going to have to release their paperwork because someone filed a subpoena to get their finances to find out.
Wait, but I don't
interference on that stuff.
I don't have like a management company. I'm a free agent, right? I've never accepted money
It
from
wasn't a
any
management
entity.
company. Harris sent out a massive. It was through Act Blue. I can't remember the document she sent out.
If I was paid by the
He sent it to
DNC,
a
then why was
Democrat
I?
by accident, and he blew the lid off of it.
Jennifer, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo straight from Act Blue and the DNC. And Chelsea, thank you for the $10 on Venmo from the DNC as well. Let's get some W's for Jennifer and Chelsea for the DNC Act Blue Kamala Harris money in the chat. Thank you guys so much. So Clayton, a question that I have for you is if I was paid by the DNC, then why wasn't I invited to the DNC? Okay, I'm pretty sure he's running. Hey, someone in the chat asks how you could donate. My Venmo, my PayPal, or my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds on those platforms, and it greatly supports me. Looks like Clayton is leaving here, so we're going to move on to our next guest, guys. If you're MAGA and you want to come up and debate, let me know in that chat literally right now. We are going to go ahead and move on to our next guest. But yeah, seriously, if you guys want to support me, my Venmo, my PayPal, they are in the bio. And Joyce with a $10 on PayPal directly from the DNC. Let's get some W's for Joyce, W's for the DNC, and W for the $10. Thank you so much. What's up, Melissa? Are you voting for Chomp? Melissa. All right, Melissa's automatically leaving. We're going to move on to our next guest. For the 4.5 thousand people in here, everyone just give us 1 minute to get our next guest up in here. Oh, wait, Law's in the guest request. I didn't even see you in there, Law. You were at the bottom. All right, we got our next guest. What's up, Law? I didn't even see you in there. Abel, thank you for the $5 on Venmo, straight from George Soros. Thank you so much for the love, Abel. What's up, Namika? Are you voting for Trump?
Fuck him. Bye.
What?
No way.
Oh, awesome. What's up, Law? Guys, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. We're still just looking for a next guest here. Everyone just be patient and give us a minute. Make sure that you were double tapping away in that phone screen, sharing out this live with a couple of friends. It looks like we have a little bit of like a restriction or like a shadow ban on the main account today. We may hit another restart. I don't know if I want to. Still looking for next guests here though, chat. If you're voting for Trump, let me know right now in the comment section. Will Chase, I got you with an invite up. All right, guys, continue to spam MAGA in the chat, y'all. We're still looking for our next guest. Please continue to spam MAGA. Moving on to our next guest here, everybody. Just still looking for our next debate. Everyone, be patient. Give us a minute. Give us a minute. Give us a minute. Debbie, I got you with an invite up. Please join. What's up, Trippy? You voting for Trump?
Yeah, what's up, bro? Why not,
You are voting for Trump?
For the first time, yeah. I voted for Hillary in 2016. I voted for no one in 2020, and I'll be voting for Trump in 2024.
Now, why in the hell will you be doing that?
Life was a lot better. The executive orders that Biden put into place during his first, 30 days.
Caitlin, thank you for the $2 and the 22 cents on Venmo from Kamala Harris. I appreciate you for the love, Caitlin. Go ahead, man.
He got us back into the Paris Climate Agreement. He put the carbon tax thing back into place. He also revoked a bunch of different environmental policies. That's what that guy was trying to say, but he didn't have the words to say it. He couldn't say the exact...
he protected nature reserves and got us back in the Paris Agreement. That is for long-term goals and sustainability for the environment and for humanity as a whole. What a terrible guy.
Yeah,
what a terrible guy.
The thing is, that's the thing. You pivot whenever it's talking. So whenever Biden, I remember when Biden was running for office, right? Everyone in the left was saying, he's gonna bring back the environment. We care about the environment. And then when oil plummeted, they were saying, oh, it's not Biden's fault. The president doesn't make and then there's different arguments every year, but it seems like they're the party that cares more about the environment than the oil. So you can't sit here and tell me that you care more. And I just told you an executive order 13990. is the exact executive order, which did that. There's a couple more. I mean, there's
An executive order to do what?
This particular executive order restored the regulations of the Obama-era rules on environmental policies. They got us back into the Paris Climate Agreement.
What a terrible guy! He's protecting us from some of the detrimental long-term effects of climate change. He's so terrible for that.
Argument, buddy. I'm not saying an emotional argument. You argued.
You're kind of giving us reason to vote for Harris here. You understand that, right?
Okay, I'm not bringing an emotional argument to the table, buddy.
I know you're like giving me like a pro-Harris argument right now.
Sure, if that's what you agree with, then sure, then go for it.
Yeah, because you're literally just explaining to me that Harris and Biden actually care about our climate, and they don't deny science and deny human-caused climate change like Trump does. Like, you understand that Trump literally denies 97% of climate scientists, and he says that there is no climate change caused by humans, and the Earth is going to get colder. We just don't know it yet.
You just argued with that guy for like 30 minutes on how Biden had nothing to do with oil prices going up and inflation going up. And you're telling me that we actually care about the environment. So
I don't see how those two things correlate at all. What's the correlation between those two things?
So you're saying that we didn't have our gas price. The guys argued that the gas prices went up under Biden, correct? Did he argue?
Gas prices have gone up under the Biden-Harris administration. Yeah.
Okay, you argued with him that Biden didn't control any of those policies. Like, what policy did he put into place in order to make the oil prices go up?
The Biden-Harris administration did not cause an increase in the price of gasoline.
Okay, well, I'm just giving you an executive order that says that. And then you argued with me that he cares about the environment, and that's that you should vote for him.
You're giving me an executive order that shows that they increased the price of gasoline by doing what?
I just explained to you they got back into the Paris Climate Agreement.
How does rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement cause the price of gasoline to increase?
Because there's many regulations that you must abide to.
EPA regulations have been the same since Obama.
Yeah, exactly, but they were not under Trump. Trump has signed an executive order to actually get out of the Paris Climate Agreement.
But leaving the Paris Climate Agreement doesn't get rid of our nationwide EPA regulations.
Okay, well, there's plenty of regulations that the Trump administration took away, that the Biden administration reinstated the Obama era.
Regulations would serve to decrease oil output insofar as what our domestic production would be. That's how they would increase price. We're currently producing more oil than any other country that has existed in the history of the earth. Also, not to mention that oil is not a domestic market, it's a global market, right? And the reason that we've seen an increase in the price of oil globally speaking is because of like three main factors. First of all, a reduction in the output of oil from OPEC because of a deal that Trump brokered with him at the end of his term. Second of all, because we're no longer getting Russian oil because of their invasion of Ukraine. Then just general rebounding influx of the pandemic, right? So when you say that like he caused an increase in the price of gas by rejoining like the Paris climate accords, well, we were also in the Paris Agreement under Obama, yet we had lower gas prices under Obama, right? The lowest gas prices month by month under Obama were lower than the lowest gas prices month by month under Trump.
You said that was the only thing. I said a couple of things. The carbon tax, he reinstated the social carbon tax. Biden did.
That's good. That's like a reason to vote for him, right? Because we should care about human-caused climate change. And a carbon tax is a good thing because it reduces carbon output and it incentivizes big corporations to take more eco-friendly, sustainable approaches to the production of their goods.
I guess so, but you get.
Also, by the way, Law, we can't hear you if you're talking. I just want to let you know because I think I just saw your mouth move, and I didn't know if you were trying to talk. I just want to let you know. Yeah, we cannot hear you at all. Anyways, go ahead, Trippy. So I completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, so I mean, there's been studies on this, right? Whenever you have countries that don't have like easy access to energy, so you're making energy harder, right? So if your intention is to make the poor like have better lifestyles, then you would want their access to energy, water, everything to be easily accessible. We have easier access to energy today than we ever had under the Trump's administration because we're producing more oil, more energy today than we ever have and did under Trump's administration.
Wait,
Right? If anything, I'd make the argument
graph.
that Trump actually wants to make the access to energy harder because he fights against like sustainable forms of energy production. Right? He thinks that like windmills are bad, how they kill whales somehow, kill bald eagles too. Right? He fights against right natural sustainable forms of energy production, making access to energy more difficult. Right? But of course, right, we're going to see that there's easier access to domestic energy today than under Trump because we have higher levels of energy production.
Yeah, I didn't finish what I was saying, but if that's what you believe, sure, go ahead.
That's not just what I believe. That's like a fact-based claim, right, with evidence provided by the EIA, the U.S. Energy Information Administration. It's not like a question
what I was
of
gonna
what is
say.
subjectively true to me, but it's more so a question of like what is actually happening in the world around us, right?
If you look at the graph of oil production, it's been a steady
Leslie, I
increase
appreciate you for the love.
for the past 50 years, give or take some years where our production really went down until we found different ways to get oil, like fracking and whatnot.
That doesn't respond to the fact that we're still producing more oil today, meaning that we have easier access to energy.
But I want to ask you this question: do you think that we would be even more or less under the Trump administration?
I think that we'd be
This
less.
will show your
because Trump
bias.
we'd be less for the reason being that the Biden-Harris administration has approved 50% more drilling permits on federal land than Trump's administration did, right? So like following the trend of the approval of drilling permits on federal land, right? They would have approved less under Trump than we would under Biden and Harris. But maybe I could ask you a question here. Would you vote for someone that's been held civilly liable for the violent sexual abuse of a woman?
Why do you pivot?
What the fuck? Okay, we could talk more about you're beating a dead horse.
Well, I mean, you said your argument and then you pivoted.
Sure. We continue to beat the dead horse. Whatever.
I mean, I could say like I don't know, Kamala's a communist or whatever, but and here's the thing.
Can you define communism?
Yeah, sure. I'm not saying that I think that. I'm just saying I could just go and pivot and say Kamala's a communist or whatever. I don't think Kamala's a
Wait,
communist.
I pivoted to asking you a question because we've been beating a dead horse for the last 15 minutes. I mean, we could continue to beat the dead horse if you want. I mean, I thought that you may accept, right, my question to pivot from what you were talking about because of how bad you were looking, how hard you were losing the argument. Like, what else do you want to say?
That's the thing. You think you're winning the argument. That's fine. If you want to think that, that's hubris of the human mind. But
I mean, you said that my claim that we're producing more oil today than we ever have been before was a subjective truth when that was reported by the Energy Information Administration. Of course, I'm winning the conversation that we're having. Of course, I am. What?
I asked you if you think under the Biden administration or under the Trump administration, do you think today would be producing more or less?
The Biden-Harris administration will be producing more. Past behaviors are predictive of future ones. The Biden-Harris administration has approved 50% more drilling permits on federal land in comparison, right, to the Trump administration.
But you just argued earlier with that guy that the Alaskan pipeline and the Alaska drilling permits weren't allowed. So
two things could be true at once. Biden can say no drilling on nature reserves, and Biden can say no pipeline through indigenous land, but Biden can also approve more drilling permits on federal land that don't pertain to nature reserves or indigenous land. Two things could be true simultaneously.
So how can you increase the social cost of a carbon tax and at the same time increase oil and say you're for the righteous?
Well, I mean, I think that we have EPA regulations on the production of oil that other countries don't have. All right, I am pro-environment, and that's why I'm also pro-domestic drilling, because we drill it cleaner than other countries. So when we increase our domestic output of oil, right, we will see that this will, all things considered, have a net benefit on climate, because we are producing this oil with regulations and standards that other countries aren't.
What do you mean?
Can I ask you a question?
Do it cleaner? What do you mean by do we do it cleaner?
We do it cleaner than other countries, Julia, because of our EPA regulations. We have regulations on how clean this oil would be would be collected in comparison to other countries. Julia, I appreciate you with the $5 on PayPal. Can I ask you a question now? I feel like I'm being interviewed.
I mean, you kind of are. You're asking people to interview you, and you're interviewing them. The same thing.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question. Would you vote for someone that's been held civilly liable for the violent sexual abuse of a woman?
Any sort of answer I give is going to be a gotcha moment either way. But let me ask you a question then. Do you think there's a non-zero chance that there's a bias in the jury within the state that you're going into? And if you're a presidential candidate, if Kamala was to go to Texas and
Yeah, man, can you answer my question?
can you answer that question? There's a non-zero
Yeah, sure,
chance.
after you answer mine.
Is there a non-zero chance? I'll answer.
There's a non-zero chance that a unicorn farted the universe into existence. Answer my
Is there a
question.
non-zero
Would you vote
chance?
for? I literally just did. Would you vote for someone that's been held civilly liable for the violent sexual abuse of a woman?
Is there a non-zero chance that if Kamala was tried in Texas, she would have a fair jury of her peers?
Yes. Can you answer my question? Would you vote
You're
for someone
so
that's held?
biased.
What?
You think that Kamala would be tried?
Hey, fuckface. Answer my question. Would you vote for someone that's held civilly
Why are you
liable?
getting angry?
Because you're not answering my question. Would you vote for someone that's been held civilly liable for the violent sexual abuse of a woman?
Like I said, either way, it's going to be a gotcha moment. If I say no, you're going to say, "Oh wow, you're going to vote for Harrison Biden." Thank you. If I say yes, you'll be like, "Oh, you."
Hey, Trippy, answer the question. I'm gonna kick you and move on.
Go ahead and kick me then, buddy.
Okay, so this is what they do when they run away. So when they can't answer questions because they know that they are in a corner and the candidate that they're voting for is indefensible, they will literally refuse to engage in conversation and will rather disengage and leave.
Go ahead and kick me.
You sure you don't want to answer my question? Are you that unwilling to engage in productive dialogue?
If you answer the question correctly, then yes, I'll answer the
Okay,
question.
I'll go and kick you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Let's go move on to our next guest here, y'all. Everyone just give us a minute. That's what happens when you get MAGA in a corner, folks. Is like they just literally like won't engage in conversation. That's like you know what I mean? Like they just all refuse to because they know that Trump is indefensible. Hey, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18.
How long do you expect me to believe that for?
Oh, today's my 18th birthday.
I'm so sorry, man. If it is, happy birthday, but I'm just like, don't buy it. Yo, Log, try to talk real quick. I want to see if your mic is working now. It's still not working. Fuck. Okay. Feel free to come back once you get figured out, Law. Or even figure it out on live. Guys, if you're MAGA, make sure to let me know down below in that chat literally right now if you want to support me. My Venmo, my PayPal, or my bio. What's up, Daniel? How old are you?
Yo, what's up? I'm 23.
All right, you're driving, man. We got to move on to our next guest here. We're going to move on to our next guest. Guys, if you are MAGA, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. We're going to get our next guest up here literally right now. All right, we got our next guest loading in right now, y'all. Everyone give us a minute. Daniel, I got you loading up here. Our next guest is loading into the live as we speak. What's up? How old are you?
21.
Are you voting for Trump?
Yes, sir.
Why so?
Why would you vote for drunk Kamala?
Can you repeat that question? You cut out.
Why would you vote for drunk Kamala?
For drunk Kamala? Are you just like throwing words in front of her name?
Nah.
Kamala? Hey, Daniel, if you can't see me, I can't hear you. You are like continuing to like go on pause. So why do you call her drunk Kamala? Okay, he actually just ran. Interesting. Moving on to our next guest here, y'all.